Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Darylyn and today we are doing something so fun. We're talking about my wish list for rare plants for 2023. I hope you guys are excited to just like dream with me a little bit because once again, I'm coming back to you with plants that I can't get, mostly because I shouldn't spend money on them, but also sadly this year it's because I don't have space, which is like, I feel like it's so depressing because the plant prices are finally like really starting to come down, and some of these plants that I like wanted in the past, I could get them for like way cheaper than ever before, but I just don't have anywhere to put them. So a lot of these are unfortunately repeats from last year because like, you know, I had pie in the sky ambitions, but they're still cool plants. And then there's a couple new ones. And then I'm also going to kind of like give you updates on some of the ones from the list from last year that I wasn't able to procure. And like, maybe I'm not thinking I would really need them anymore. So yeah, let's get into it. And the first one that we're going to talk about today has been my number one wish list plant for, I don't know, like 3 or 4 years now. It feels like it's been a really long time. And I've mentioned it in so many videos and you guys probably know what I'm talking about. And that is the Philodendron ilsamanii. I want one of these so bad, you guys. They're so pretty. Like there's just nothing out there that's really comparable. I like really was trying this year to not buy expensive plants anymore because in the past I've like really overspent on plants, and so I got a couple of dupes and they're just not the same. Like I got the Philodendron Jose Bono and it's great, I really like it, but it's just not the same as an ilsamanii. Like it sometimes will give me that really pretty confetti kind of effect in the colors, but it doesn't sunstress pink. Like the ilsamanii can sunstress pink, which is like, I really like that. And like the shape of it's just a little different. Like the top doesn't get like the nice ruffle kind of like the ilsamanii does, and it's not the same. And I also did the Paraiso Verde, which I actually really liked it, but only during the heat wave when it was giving amazing colors, because unfortunately those only give you really amazing color when it's really hot, because their variegation is like a stable virus, I think, that's activated by heat, and it needs to be like 90 plus degrees to give you like the really good color, and I just don't ever want to be that hot. Like I was miserable. We had a heat wave here over the summer and I was miserable, and that Paraiso Verde was so happy. It gave me such beautiful leaves, and like I don't know, I think I'm probably gonna rehome that plant because it's just not like really doing it for me, I guess. But regardless, like the ilsamanii is still number one in my heart. I really want one. I think I'll be able to get one eventually. Eventually those prices are gonna come down, but I want one so bad. Okay, I mean, we need to move on, but yeah, still the ilsamanii, it's still on my list. The second one that is still on my wish list this year from last year is the Monstera deliciosa no ID mint variegated, and these are really cool. I really want one. Like this used to be like a unicorn. It's not anymore. Like you can definitely get them and the prices have come down a lot, and I actually like almost got one this year. I found one I was like gonna buy, and then like the prices were just in free fall, and from the time that I like kind of told the guy that I was interested to when the plant was like rooted and ready, like the price that I had agreed to pay for it like didn't seem like a good price anymore. So I just decided not to get the plant because I ended up needing the money for something, and also I just don't need to be paying that kind of money for plants anymore. But you know, it is sad because it was a really beautiful one, but I think I'll be able to get one for a better deal at some point. Also, your girl doesn't have room for any more giant Monstera. Like I got a large form Aurea this year. It's still a baby, it's still small, so I don't have a problem yet, but like I don't have any more room for any more giant Monstera. Like I need to move. Once I get a house, then I can get more big plants. But yeah, that's another one that I still want. It was still on the list last year and I want it. Still haven't got it. Sad. Next thing is dark, sexy Anthurium. I still love these. Last year, I talked about the Ralph Lynam X Fort Sherman Papillilaminum, and I did actually get one of those this year. I got a baby seedling. It's still small, but it's definitely growing, and that plant is going to be amazing when it's mature. I'm so happy about that. I also talked about like the Carla Blackie eye. I would love to get one of those. They're just very striking and very like, you know, gothic, and their veins are very like pointed, and it's just an aesthetic. I really like it. I want one. Maybe what I'm hoping is that eventually the Ralph Lauren X Fort Sherman will be big enough and it'll maybe put off pups, or I'll be able to pollinate it and I'll be able to trade for some of these like other anthurium that I want. Because the other one that I really want is the Black Velvet Eastern Panama. Those are really expensive, but they're very cool. I think the new leaves come out and they're like very maroon or like orange, if I'm correct. Very beautiful. Another like super dark one that's like doesn't have veins. I would also like to get another AOS, like an Ace of Spades, because I killed mine, which is tragic. It's just so tragic because that was like my favorite plant and that was like totally my fault. I'm still really sad about that. Like that's honestly like my worst plant mistake, was killing that AOS, because not all AOSs are created equal. Like that one was a nice one. I'm devastated. Anyway, but yeah, so dark sexy anthurium. Hopefully I can eventually get some more of those. The next one is actually like a really basic plant, very common plant. It is a burgundy rubber plant. I want one, or like the dark Ficus elastica. I want one because I want a big one, but I don't have space. Don't have space for anything big. I only have space for so many trees in this 1-bedroom apartment. So eventually when we get a house, I would really love to have a big burgundy rubber plant for the vibes. And I feel like having my big burgundy rubber plant is kind of just like unlocked an achievement of having enough space for it. Another plant like that I would really love to have would be the variegated banana, which like those are really difficult because banana wants to be in full sun, but like the variegation burns in full sun, and like apparently they rot really easily. So I don't know if the variegated banana is ever something I'm gonna do, but you know, ideally in my like dream plant collection with enough space for one, I would have one, because I just think that they're so beautiful. Also, when I have more space for like more shelves, I would love to get more pendant anthurium to hang down. I have a Vitara folium that is out in my living room and it's huge and it's living life. It's loving it. It's doing amazing. Towards the end of the growing season, it was starting to give me like pretty long leaves, and yeah, that plant is great. I love it. So I would love to get some more like that. I think the Anthurium pallidiflorum is really beautiful, and I've heard that that one's like similar to the Vitara folium as far as care requirements. So I'm pretty confident it would do fine in my house. Long strappy boys, like long pendant anthurium hanging off of like some really nice like wooden shelves. Like I feel like that's like a vibe for sure. I would love to have the space for those. Like I would love it. Another thing I would love to do, I think I have room for it and I can do it before we move. Not that, I don't even know, not that we're moving soon. I'm like dreaming, you guys. You know, it's the beginning of the year, I'm fantasizing. But I have a little terrarium that I've like used for different things. It's cute. It's like a little glass house terrarium. I would love to make a little like Victorian plant goth terrarium with like a couple of begonias and some jewel orchids. And a friend of mine is actually gonna send me Begonia Hallows Eve, which is a black begonia with like an orange center that's like gothic AF. And then also Begonia Milana Ballata, which literally looks like a slime monster that like crawled out of like a nuclear like waste dump. It's so horrifying and I love it. And then jewel orchids aren't like super expensive, so I think I could like make an exception to my kind of like soft plant ban to get some jewel orchids to make my little terrarium look cute. I just think that that would be cool. I've been like really interested in learning about like the history of houseplant collecting lately, and like the Victorians had a lot of houseplant and rare plant and exotic plant history. So a little Victorian kind of nod to the history of houseplant collecting might be kind of like fun because I'm a nerd, but I think I can do that this year. So some little terrarium plants are on my wish list. Maybe like a Labesia, I think is how you pronounce it. There's one that's like kind of like brown and pink. I think Harley G's showed it on her channel a few times. I would like to get that and stick it in the terrarium if it would be okay, because it would have to be something that didn't need a ton of airflow. But yeah, I think that would be really cool. Another thing that I would really love to have would be Anthurium corrugatum, and this has been on my wish list forever, but the only problem is that it's like a cloud forest type plant, and so it would need like a special setup. And I've always kind of liked the idea of of having like a detail for like one of the skinny tall IKEA cabinets that was dedicated as like a cloud forest environment for cool growing plants like that. So I don't think that's going to be something I can get to this year, but it's on my wish list for sure. So I would love to be able to do that. I think that would be so cool. And I could put like other stuff in there too, like maybe like some pipers, or honestly like Queen Anthurium would probably like it in there. But yeah, that would be cool. Another plant that I would love to have if I had more space would be one of the variegated Homelominas, the one that are pink. I don't remember the name. There's a few different ones. I don't think I'd be super picky about which one, but they can get really big. Like, you know, we're talking like floor plants. So I would love to have one of those. That would be really cool. And I think like a Burl Marks Flame. This is another one that was on my list last year. And I talked at length about just how cool it is and how unique it looks. It kind of has like this like mermaid tail vibe. So cool. And they also, as they mature, they just become like creepier and like more spindly. And so I'd be down for that. I'd be down. The prices on those used to be crazy, and they're getting more reasonable. So I'm hoping that like eventually I'll be able to get one or trade for one because they're very cool. But apparently they're very slow growing and a lot of people lose them in propagation. So I don't know. We will see. We will see. But this is my fantasy, so I'm allowed to say whatever I want. So that's kind of like most of the plants that I would love to add to my list. I mean, of those plants, there's not that many that I would like snatch up right now. If I could get an Ilsamanii into this house, I would bring it in. If I could get like the dark anthuriums, I would bring them in. Other than that, like I'm pretty happy with the amount of plants that I have. I don't want to go too overboard. I'm trying to like scale back and, you know, reclaim my dining room table and reclaim some space in this house because a lot of it's covered in plants and my boyfriend is a very good sport. So actively working on scaling back. But some of the other plants that I had on my list last year, I actually am in the process of trading for, or I'm not going to get because I just like lost interest. The first one was the tricolor Monstera adansonii. I'm going to trade my friend for that. I'm so excited. Her plant is really beautiful. We're just waiting for the weather to warm up because it is December and most of the country is in a bomb cyclone right now. But once it's warm enough to ship things, I will hopefully be getting that from my friend. The philodendron bicolor. So this is another one that I was really into last year. I've kind of lost interest in this, to be honest. I don't know. I do like it better than the philodendron patricii, which I have, but it's not something that I'm like, oh, I have to get it. I need that right now. I would definitely be very happy to take it if I could get it in a trade or if somebody just wanted to give it to me. I mean, like, you know, obviously, but I'm not like actively trying to find it right now. I don't know. Sometimes you just like kind of like lose interest in stuff. But the Anthurium Dock Block F2, I actually received this in a trade this year and it is beautiful and I'm obsessed. I would really actually like to get the Zara X Michelle. That I think is my favorite of the dock blocks. Like the new leaves come out and they're like bright purple, which is so beautiful. And then I think I had the Anthurium Voodoo Child on my list. I've kind of lost interest in that. I just think that there are other super dark velvety Anthurium that are better. The Voodoo Child is a hybrid. I think it's a hybrid between, oh, I don't remember. It's a hybrid though, and I think I'm kind of more interested in the plants that are actually like the pure species, less so than the hybrids. That's why I kind of like the BVEP, so the Black Velvet Eastern Panama, and the Carla Blackii and like the Papilli laminums better because they're like a pure species rather than a hybrid. But that's just like my opinion for now. Like eventually maybe I'll change my mind. But I've kind of lost interest in the Voodoo Child. And then the Scindapsus tricolor, those are super accessible now. The prices have come down so much. So I'm actually going to get one of those from my friend who has a plant shop as soon as she gets more in. Next shipment. I think the one I picked was like the Scindapsus exotica tricolor, which way back in the day, like 2019 back in the day, I really wanted the Scindapsus pictus exotica, like the ones that get like the really big leaves. And so now there's a tricolor one, so I'm gonna get that. So I'm excited about that. Hopefully I won't kill it because I had some issues with the Scindapsus pictus argyrius when I had it. It got root rot, but I think I'm like, you know, evolved in my plant care capabilities now. I can probably handle it. And then the last one that I talked about was the Philodendron Red Anderson. And I still still very much do want this, and I actually did buy one, but I got it in an import order with a friend of mine who isn't local, and she just still needs to send it to me. So once it gets to be warm enough where we can ship plants again, I'm pretty sure she's going to send that over to me. And I think I have maybe a couple other things that I bought in import orders with her that I forgot about. I think there's at least 1 or 2 Terrarium that she has that are mine. So I'm excited to get those, and I'm excited to get the Red Anderson, because now that I have learned how to grow philodendrons up moss poles in, you know, my humidity, I think that I can give that Red Anderson really favorable conditions, and it'll be beautiful. So super, super looking forward to that. But yeah, that is kind of the state of my rare plant wish list this year. Let me know in the comments below what your #1 wish list plants are this year. Do we have the same wish list plants? Do we have different ones? And yeah, I'm really excited to chat with you guys about that. I love like the beginning of the year, like thinking about like, oh, all the possibilities. So we will see. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna move this year. I think it'll probably be next year, but you know, a girl can dream. Anyway, thank you so much for chilling with me. I will see you in my next one. Bye.